I never thought I'd see an article like this. In many ways, I thought that we were the fringe minority, the only channel on the internet that was voicing this opinion. And then I stumbled onto this article titled, Meet the Women Who Ruined Star Wars. At first, I thought the title to be a bit hyperbolic, but then I thought about it. And the more I think about it, this article is aptly named. Now, do I think Star Wars is completely dead? Oh no. There's money to be milked from this franchise, and where there's money to be made, Disney will be there with a straw to suck it dry. But I do see a steep decline, and others are seeing it too, which makes me happy. This article comes from Dangerous.com, and it's written by Mark Geppert. Suffice to say, and it's been over 2 weeks now, Star Wars The Last Jedi was met with not the greatest audience response. 51% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, 6% lower than Star Wars Episode II Attack of the Clones, and a sharper box office drop than Rogue One's standalone film. The reception is understandable. Nobody asks for a Star Wars movie with Yo Mama jokes, a crazy ghost Yoda that can call lightning from the sky by giving thumbs up, or porgs trying to make Chewbacca a vegetarian, nor a scene where Luke milks Lena Dunham. There are people to blame for this franchise stumbling so early, but the most important of all is a Star Wars story group. This group, led by Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, is supposed to rule over the franchise's canon, story, and make sure the continuity and consistency is seamless. It seems they are busy promoting the diversity on their team instead of guaranteeing success for the franchise. In an interview with Fortune, she explained, 50% of the executive team is women. 6 out of 8 people on my story group are women. I think it's making a huge difference in the kind of stories we're trying to tell. Women. While she ran around with the Force is Female t-shirts and staffed her story groups with women who apparently forgot to actually plan out this franchise. In an interview with Deadline, Rian Johnson revealed that there was no big outline on the trilogy, and that he had full creative freedom to do whatever he wished in The Last Jedi, meaning Disney and the Star Wars Group left the fate and success of this multi-billion-dollar franchise to chance at the whim of whichever director and writer happened to be directing at the time. It doesn't help matters that Disney apparently temporarily scared off director and writer J.J. Abrams, who is a big Star Wars fan and the safest bet to direct this new trilogy. It is unlikely that his absence in writing and directing The Last Jedi was planned. It's unknown why he's returning to direct and write the finale of this trilogy, but fans speculate that Disney got cold feet after the shoot for the latest film was complete. The characters in The Last Jedi mirror this mess. Admiral Holdo, nicknamed by critics as Admiral SJW, is the definition of leadership as explained by someone with critically low testosterone. A person who must not explain herself, is expected to be followed blindly and without question, and must not be upstaged. The character's utter failure to show she deserves to be in charge, that she has some sort of plan, and failing to build up the rebels' confidence leads to a chain of events where countless rebels die. All because she could not be bothered to explain that she has everything under control and a plan in motion. But not before she has to finally sacrifice herself in a move that invalidates all other movies as she breaks the universe of Star Wars by hyperspace ramming a dreadnought. It's no wonder that this same character believes in astrology, a children's game focused around tarot cards, zodiac signs, and is about as valid as reading chicken bones and pig guts. Whether some female writer thought inserting some hocus pocus she believes into Star Wars validates herself, or somebody confused astrology with astronomy is unknown. The question remains, which is more pathetic? The final character, Rose, a small Asian woman, isn't much better as we spend 30 minutes with her on a casino planet sequence that is ultimately pointless and ends with them saving space dog horses and Rose pretending that this effort was worth it. Interesting note, that was preferred to saving the enslaved children who cared for these pod race replacement animals. In the finale, Rose blocks a certain male character from sacrificing himself to save hundreds of rebels, dooming them all to their death, and stopping said characters from having an actual arc. She explains her reasoning in a line that rivals Anakin's famous monologue about sand and idiocy. We're gonna win this war, not by fighting what we hate, but by saving what we love. It seems Disney went too far in places, and already their newly flagship franchise is stumbling. If the executives at Disney wish to course correct and not end up like DC's cinematic universe, it would be wise for them to start with the person who did not plan this trilogy ahead of time, and the team who failed to do their job in securing consistency from one movie to the next. I can rarely say this about a Star Wars article, but I learned something new. I never knew that Kathleen Kennedy's story team was predominantly female. 6 out of 8 people on the team are women, so I guess that's what equality looks like nowadays. But all of a sudden, so many things make sense. It's clear why Rey is a Mary Sue, it's clear why Holdo is a cunt, and it's clear why these movies have no structure, direction, or entertainment value. I've gone on at great lengths about how the narrative of entertainment trumps the actual product that we get in theaters, and nothing reaffirms that more than Disney's Star Wars. It's never about new planets, interesting creatures, and epic stories. It's about real sets, practical effects, and political agendas. In no way am I saying that women shouldn't be involved with Star Wars. Hell, look at Marsha Lucas. She practically saved Star Wars from a boring mess in the editing room. But the ones they got working now are trash. Look at the quote, 6 out of the 8 people in my story group are women. I think it's making a huge difference in the kind of stories we're trying to tell. Yeah, the stories are bullshit. Logic and reasoning aren't important as long as your souls, or lack thereof, are imprinted on this joke that we know as The Last Jedi. You'll argue it's working because these movies make a boatload of money, but that's not really the case this time. The movie is bombing in China. Oh, I know Star Wars doesn't have much of a presence in China, and that's why it fails. But again, neither did Fast and Furious 8, and look at how that did. Here in America, it's The Last Jedi's 24th day in cinemas, and it's no longer the top film. It's not even in second place. Star Wars The Last Jedi has been knocked down to third place by The Rock in Jumanji and Insidious 4. I can see the power of the People's Champ vanquishing Star Wars. After all, he did beat Triple H and Stone Cold on many occasions. But Insidious? The first two were fun movies, but I never thought of them as a series of films that could take down the biggest franchise ever. We're still in the middle of this 4-week guarantee pushed by Disney on the theaters. And you have to wonder if this is the reason why they did that. It's a smart move on their plan, but my biggest question is what's next? Solo is what's next, and based on the Lego Millennium Falcon from the film, Han Solo's making the Kessel Run. Yay. What a surprise. They take a line of dialogue from the cantina scene and they build an entire 2-hour-plus film around it. I guess the brain trust over at Lucasfilm dug deep to pull off this wholly original tale. But hey, diversity, am I right? Maybe the article wasn't too hyperbolic after all. The creativity of Star Wars is dead, the imagination is dead, the spectacle is dead, and Luke Skywalker is dead. Kathleen Kennedy probably ate a lot of shit sandwiches to get where she is today, and she's not going to let any man or creation by a man that she worked for be untouched by her scorched earth tactics. All she's doing is throwing a fit and damaging a brand for the foreseeable future. And that's it for today's video. I'm surprised that this is actually published somewhere out in the world, and it's not a world-class bullshitters thing. This is the exact sentiment that I've had for the last, 24 days at this point? We saw The Last Jedi, and it was so obviously painful about the agenda in this movie. It's not even, thinly veiled anymore. It's just in your face. I can understand trying to throw allegory in here and there. It works in stuff like Civil War, but it doesn't work in Star Wars because some of those weird sensibilities of modern day politics will fit in a modern setting film. Not with Star Wars. Star Wars is timeless. Star Wars is supposed to be a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away type of deal. And it feels really forced to have animal rights activism right in the middle of a Star Wars movie. I mean, I don't condone animal violence, but in the prequels, they fight those creatures and they don't go, oh, I'm so worried about their health or well-being. They just, boom, off with their legs. Same thing in The Force Awakens when that slug creature or whatever, was trying to kill him on the ship and they closed the door and cut its arms off. But it's not cute nor cuddly, so it doesn't matter. I feel the tide is turning. It's refreshing to know that everyone else seems to realize that this movie is shit. 2 years ago, I sat here, oh God, it's so bad, it's so bad, it's so bad. And everyone's like, hey, I love this movie just like my childhood. It's the best one ever, blah, 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 blah. And not so much anymore. The internet's kind of turned on this movie. The media can't turn on this movie because there are Disney dollars at play. And when there's Disney dollars at play, the truth doesn't come out. It's all about making Mickey happy. And that's what it is. That's the truth. That's how it will always be until those people are not involved. You got your Collider, your Screen Junkie, your Hollywood Reporter, all those people. They're all Disney controlled, and you really can't trust what they say. And it's kind of messed up. Actually, it's very messed up. It creates confusion. Is the movie really perceived this way? Is it perceived that way? The only thing you can really look at is the box office dollar, the comparative drop-off. And so we see now that The Last Jedi has made significantly less than The Force Awakens. Just comparing those two films on today's basis, for the day 24 total, domestically speaking only, of course, The Force Awakens made $812,734,828 and some change, I'm betting. But The Last Jedi sits at $572, $691, $546, so that is a big decrease. That's a roughly 30% drop-off. That's greater than the percentage I guessed. I think I said this film will make, 20% less? And that was I thought a conservative guess. But we're looking at nearly 10% less, more, depending on how you want to figure that out, how you want to say it, how you want to word it. People have spoken with their wallets. The repeat customers aren't there. People aren't going back to see this film. I've only met a few people in person that had a lot of positives to say about this film. It's usually, it wasn't that good. It's never, oh, it was the best one yet. That's the kind of shit I only really hear on the internet. Conversely, I haven't heard too many people say it's the worst one yet, but I haven't heard anyone say, oh, I really loved Porgs or Rose or any of the new characters. No one has ever in person to me said, "Oh, Benicio del Toro really filled out the cast and was a very welcomed addition to the film." Because he fucking wasn't. And you're not going to hear that kind of stuff in the real world. People saw the movie, they didn't like it, and they've moved on. The nostalgia, the magic, the hype, the fun wasn't there. As always, thanks for watching World Class Bullshitters videos. I greatly appreciate it. If you could, give this video a thumbs up and share it. We've had a lot of great growth. We've had a lot of channel views. And I'd like to thank all the new people that have joined the channel. So, thank you. And if you're a big fan of this channel and you've been waiting to pull the trigger, we are over on Patreon for $1 a month. You get access to all kinds of great shit. But on top of that, you get to really help us out. So for that $1 a month or 17 cents a day, which equals $5 a month, you get access to all the Star Wars commentaries. We have commentaries for every Star Wars film from episodes 1 through 3, 7, and Rogue One available on Patreon, and those will not be hitting YouTube ever. Over on YouTube, we have our drunk Star Wars trilogy commentaries, but those are drunk Star Wars trilogy commentaries, and I may have not made it through all of those conscience, so I don't really remember them too well. But, like I said, 17 cents a day really helps us grow. You get all kinds of cool perks. You can ask us questions. You can be on our show. No topic is taboo. No subject too big. No fee is too big. So become a World Class Bullshitters patron and join in on the fun. We'll be back later in the week with more great content, and thanks for watching.